Greetings, folks. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin right now because there's a lot of stuff happening in Bitcoin's price. And I want to kind of show you what is happening with Bitcoin as well as what is happening on the high block charts. So obviously I went live yesterday and I showed this chart, what I've been working on, how I've ultimately changed the high block or the Wyckoff pattern into an accumulation one pattern with the spring all the way back here at the low, rather than it being a Wyckoff accumulation pattern two. However, we could still be in a two. I've just been experimenting ultimately with the two different ways of mapping them out, because, you know, that's one thing about TA. You can draw out whatever you want to see to some extent. Now, there are certain expectations, limitations, and guidances in charting out a lot of this stuff. But as it stands, whether we're in a one or a two, the price action from where we're at will very likely end up being the same. Okay, so just basically where we're at, it doesn't really matter if it's a one or two at this point, unless we got a new low, which I don't think we're going to see. Now, I did pull this down a bit, this green channel here, or this green point, only because I had it up here. And this isn't necessarily dictating how low it's going to go, just that this is the general direction of the pattern based off of where I see it. So we could potentially come down here. This is on a daily candle. So we could come down into the next daily candle and drop even lower, Now, what's happening though? Where is the liquidity going? What's happening? If you watched my recent interview with Annie of Trade Travel Chill, we covered some different tools and some different charting mechanics that play a big role in what is likely happening in the price action. And the last I showed you, there was originally some yellow bars around the $15,000 level, but those have since vanished. And then it was basically blank all the way up into like 19,000. Well, now that we've come down in Bitcoin's price, now that we've come down, where we're at now is around $20,250 to $20,300. We're continuing this downward momentum. Now, given how that has changed, the price has changed, as has the liquidity in the market. Basically, where the market makers and where the order books are sitting, given the current price action. So right now we've got, it's not even bright yellow yet, because a lot of this stuff is still forming, but you can see we had a bright yellow chart, or a bright yellow line here, basically meaning that the most concentration of liquidity was around this price point in the 21,300 range. Now it's dissipating, and now the strongest concentration of yellow, which isn't even that bright right now, is around 20,950. So the question is, and we can kind of get a little bit of an idea as to what's to be expected if we look at volume. Right now, it looks like volume has been dissipating a little bit as we've continued to move down, which means the momentum is starting to peter out. And that it's likely that unless we have a significant power move happening in the short-term future, which is very likely given what we have, the government is now selling off a lot of Bitcoin that they acquired from the raid of Silk Road. And I mean, there's a lot of selling pressure entering the space about now. I mean, the entire month of March, in my opinion, is going to be a big sell-off month for a lot of people across the board. Okay, Mt. Gox distribution, the government selling there. I mean, there's so much happening. So the likelihood is, as the price continues to change, so does the liquidity. And right now we're sitting at strong liquidity around the 19,500 mark, as well as the 17,375 levels. So over the next day, excuse me, over the next day, it's really going to be about looking at the price action, seeing where we go, looking if we have any significant momentum builds in volume based off of the direction that volume is taking us, whether it's to the downside or a reversal, and then looking to see where we start to really firm up liquidity and these green lines start to turn yellow. And that's ultimately what I'm looking at right now to further understand if we're in an accumulation 1 or 2 pattern and where we go from here, because I'm looking for an entry. I did enter another entry, a long-term hold entry, a dollar cost average in Cardano yesterday. And I've got a pretty decent sum, I guess, but I am still looking to accumulate more. I'd like to get back to where I was in the previous cycle, but I'm also going to start looking at some of these smaller cap altcoins as well as we continue to move forward in the market, because quite frankly, you know, I want as broad a position as I can establish with comfortability in mind. And by that, I mean, I don't want to invest in a bunch of crap tokens. I'm really going to be starting to dive deep into a lot of altcoin projects in the coming weeks and months as we move forward. So be prepared for that. And if you don't know, I do have a 24/7 stream of the best of Crypto Crow. They're basically more timeless videos. They're not necessarily relevant to specific news of the day, but lessons, messages, how-tos, a lot of different stuff, and I will be adding to it as it picks up interest, if it picks up interest. So if you like to just be able to tune in and listen to some of the best content I've put out over the years, then by all means check it out. And the more support it gets, the more I'm going to add to it and the bigger it will become. And then maybe even eventually I'll bring in some other creators to kind of help support and add new content. But it's definitely all about timeless content, more about just old content. I want it all to be relevant as relevant today as it was when I created it the first time. So that's basically what you're going to see. And there's really a lot of good stuff because I've sat and watched it myself and I'm thought, you know, this is some pretty good information. I hope people appreciate this. So that's it for right now. I am going to start doing shorter segments, shorter news segments, and then I'm probably going to start going live on Friday evenings, maybe even live on Saturdays. So we'll have to see. I'm going to try and figure out a system for content as I move forward because I need to get my watch times up, and the best way to do that is with shorter videos. So until next time, guys, crow your coins, and I'll see you soon.